Welcome to episode 2 of the Deuce and Don podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Bo Don Blake.
And it's your main man, Deuce.
Yes, sir. And so, the first episode, it was great. We talked about the NBA Finals. Since we filmed that episode, Game 2 and Game 3 have happened. And I'd like to start off by saying this. I have a question for you and the audience. What does Maxi Kleber do?
He's supposed to be like Sam Hauser-esque, like a I don't know if Sam Hauser replays defense, but that power forward, he comes out the bench shooting his 3-pointers, last year, a couple years ago, he was probably more impactful than I would say he's been playing, obviously now,
Right. Correct me if I'm wrong. He played for Cleveland, right?
I've never followed Maxi Kleber.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you.
But I just like to say though, in 3 games, I've watched all 3 games now in full. Well, the first game we know I watched portions of, but I watched a lot of highlights. But I have not seen him do a single thing on the court this whole series. And I feel like I hate to pick on him, man. Like, Maxi, I got nothing against you personally, but man, Dallas has no help. Kyrie finally turned it around in Game 3. Mm-hmm. But man, these role players, they're giving them no help.
Yeah,
it's honest. Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I love Luka and Kyrie, but I feel like it's a miracle they've gotten this far.
Honestly, I wouldn't say that. The reason why is because the Celtics, think of it like they have role players around Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but they have high-end role players. Jrue Holiday was probably the second best player on the Bucks when they won the championship. Even though Middleton was there, he wasn't playing as well as Jrue Holiday was playing on both ends of the floor. I think Dallas expected their bigs to play as well as they played the last couple of series, like Gafford, Lively. They were kind of almost like freaking Minnesota with Karl-Anthony Towns and Gobert. Like, they were playing great defense. PJ Washington also been shooting the ball too,
Right. Those were keys we talked about too.
Exactly.
I just like to say real quick, and then I'll let you jump off where you were. In Game 2, Gafford and Lively, they stepped up. They got more rebounds, and as a result, the game was closer. Game 3, I don't really remember a lot of them. On the boards, they were a little. I thought mostly on the boards it was Luka, but again, man, the role players for Dallas was pretty non-existent in Game 3.
It's like, is Luka or die for Dallas? And you kind of expect that, when you watch the Dallas Mavericks team, it's Luka's team. But going against the Celtics, when they have so much offensive firepower, it's going to take more than Luka. And Kyrie sometimes, once in Blue Moon dropping 30, they're going to need PJ Washington to score 20. And at this point, you kind of wonder even if it's worth talking about, because they're kind of already in the biggest hole possible.
Yeah, 3-0.
As far as a playoff deficit, I want to say, last week you made our predictions about the series. It was as of now, we were completely wrong.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I could still see Dallas taking Game 4, but I have a tough time seeing them winning in Boston just because Kyrie in Game 1 and 2, he really struggled. I think the Boston crowd might have had something to do with it just because, I can't imagine playing with all those boos. Even though they're saying the boos aren't that loud, it's still loud booing, bro.
I heard some stats.
But in Game 3, he bounced back. But then it was in Game 2, the role players played better. The only player that I thought really did not play well in Game 2 for Dallas was Kyrie. Notably. But then in Game 3, they needed, towards the end of the game, they needed PJ Washington to hit some shots. He didn't. Yeah. But then again, I can't blame him. He's only 25 years old. He's in his 4th year. It's a lot to ask for,
And PJ also has his off the court stuff too, but
I've heard, but I don't know the man personally. I props him for getting with the women that beautiful, but what happened after, anyway, back to the court.
100%.
But no, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
But Dallas's role players though, that's really what it is. And like I said, man, I mentioned in Game 1, right? When Tatum and Brown don't have the hot hand, they got all these guys give it to. Holiday went off with 26 in Game 2. So it's all right, they don't have the high hand, give it to Jrue. Now, Porzingis gets hurt, so now, this dude, what's his name, Xavier Tillman?
Yeah, the guy they got from Memphis.
Yeah, so they brought him in to replace Porzingis' minutes. What I noticed was that Dallas was picking on him defensively, as they should have, just because I feel like I'm not saying he's a bad player, but in comparison to the rest of the Celtics rotation, like he's not solidified or like, you know.
Porzingis is 7'3". They're not gonna try him every single time down the paint, you know.
Definitely.
That's why I'm so disappointed. Like he was out freaking game 3, game 2?
I think game 2, towards the end of the game, something happened with his knee, and then Woj said there was like a rare injury.
Yeah, and it was a close game, and Dallas had a lead through at least some times of that game. So like, you know, like if you're gonna get a game, that's the game to steal. Game 2 on the road, that's the game to steal for Dallas.
Definitely.
And I feel like if they would have gotten that game, then game 3 would have came out with more life and things would have worked out a little differently. But at the end of the day, you know, that defense, it looked good when they first got Gafford, but you know, against the Celtics, you're gonna need offense unbelievably plus the defense to go with it to really stop Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Because you look at Jason Tatum, they haven't really been getting the things they needed from him for most of the series. They just got the superstar Jason Tatum game. So at this point, you know,
he put up 31 last game. Yeah. But then again, I still think Brown has been the leader of this team,
of course,
offensively and defensively. I think he's going to win the MVP unless he has a horrible game 4 or something like that.
Yeah, or some Jason Tatum freaking whatever, Johnny said in group chat, or no, I think it was Darius. He said freaking drop 70 points or some shit. Like,
who dropped 70?
Yeah. No,
I know he didn't, obviously.
He said if he dropped 70, like, you know, he'll wear the MVP. I don't know. I don't think Jason Tatum deserves it. Even if he has 2 good games, that's 2 good games.
Brown has been like so like visible offensively and defensively this series. He's getting blocks. He's getting, you know, he's hitting key threes. He's getting crazy dunks. You know what I mean? He's just energized. He's
proud of the guy.
Real quick, I want to bring this up too because we had mentioned. I'm sorry.
He using his left too.
Oh yeah. They love saying that about him. You know, the internet. You know, they run with narratives. You know, just like the media does. But I'd like to mention this though. I had said before, you know, who's going to guard Tatum and Brown, you know, and we mentioned a few people. And then when I mentioned Luka, you were like, I don't know, because he's the primary offensive player. And you were absolutely right, because Luka ended up defending Tatum and Brown a lot in game 3, and he fouled out like that.
He can't do it. You can't expect Luka at this point in his career to now start playing defense. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, like,
because he can't commit too many fouls. He'll be out of there.
And it's not like he's a bad defender, but Luka's not going to guard the best offensive player on the other player's team. Like, you know, what do you really expect from Luka, honestly?
Right.
You know, like, you got to give him help, or the other defense has to help out some way. You know, like, they should have watched some Miami Heat highlights from the past couple of playoffs. You know, at least something.
He's a Heat fan, by the way.
If y'all didn't know this, man, Miami Nation.
In his defense, since day one, I remember that. But you were saying, what about Miami should they be watching?
Just the defensive switching, you know, being able to force Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown to do one thing. You know, you can't let Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum get downhill. Now you win spotting up, stepping back for 3-point range. You know,
right?
They're at their best when they're going downhill, but you know, Dallas, they have bigs. They have people where if you just stay in front of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, we've seen Jaylen Brown.
Right.
You know, if you in front of him, he's not going to be dribbling for 30 seconds. He won't turn the ball over. You know what I'm saying? Like, just little stuff like that. Double team him, you know, like, but this year is kind of hard because they have a lot of 3-point shooters. It's not like last year or the year before where you can just leave people open. Derek White is going to go for 30 if you leave him open every single time, and you don't know why.
Speaking of Derek White, he's been very consistent this whole series. Like, he hasn't had any crazy games in the finals, but he's consistently put up like 15, 20.
You could argue he could have been the freaking playoff series MVP for the playoffs, because before Jaylen Brown was doing this thing, Derek White was freaking putting up mad crazy numbers.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's what makes the Celtics dangerous, you know, like if there's a guy with a cold hand, they're not panicking. You know, if Kyrie or Luka's got a cold hand, it's a little different in Dallas, because it's like, who's going to step? Also, another thing, I don't mean to pick on Maxi Kleber and, you know, other players, but another player, though, that you know, as like, not personally, you know, just like I expected more out of Tim Hardaway.
Oh, 100%.
Because he's a veteran.
100%.
He's a veteran, you know.
He's been in this league for a while.
Yeah, and I thought, you know, I saw him try to defend Tatum a bit, and it wasn't working. You were saying, though?
The thing is with Tim Hardaway Jr., he was supposed to be he was remember that time? I don't know if you watched the rookie All-Star game, but he went at it with Dion Waiters. He dropped like 44
I do remember that.
Bro, what he was supposed to be and what he is, like, you know, like, not every player is going to pan out to be,
Right.
especially when your father's Tim Hardaway.
Of course, yeah. But he is, you know, in his defense though, he stayed around. You know,
Yeah, he's still in the league. Of course, he's an NBA player. He's
Yeah,
rocking
exactly.
out, bro.
But you know, like I don't even think he's scored yet.
Has he? He hasn't?
I don't think he scored
Honestly,
in
I
the
don't remember
entire
him being in the
playoff.
game.
And not playoffs. I'm bugging. The entire finals, I don't think he scored a point yet. I saw something like that. It was maybe on Twitter or somebody sent me a screenshot, something like that. But I feel like, you know, we've kind of been, you know, consistently saying this, but it's the truth about what's going on in this finals, man. The Mavs role players we knew they had to step up if they were going to win the series, just because of the fact that Boston's got a powerhouse lineup and they could bring in, you know, a couple solid players in. And so, you know, now we knew they had to step up, and they were young players too.
Exactly.
So it's
100%.
So yeah, now it's gonna be difficult. I think at best case scenario for Dallas, they lose in 6. I don't see them winning in Boston though. I think they go in 5, just because I think Luka and Kyrie are gonna they don't want to get swept.
I think it's really just
and they'll be at home, you know. So I think Boston in 5 personally.
I think it's really the basketball fans in us. Like, I'm scared. Like, I don't really want basketball to end.
Of course not.
You know, so like
we didn't want to
but
finals like this.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
We didn't want this.
We were expecting like a 6 or 7 game series.
Right.
But the fact is, nobody's ever come back from a 0-3 deficit. So it's kind of like, if they don't go out tonight, we'll be thankful. But chances are they're going to go out at some point.
Yeah.
Freaking Celtics, man.
Yeah. It's been for them. It's been a minute, you know, because it would be like 16 years since they won one or something like that. But
Bro,
we wanted a series, man, and we were begging Dallas's. You know, I can't really blame them though, just because they're. It's not like, you know what I mean, they got guys with stripes. You know what I mean, their role players are young guys.
It's their first
you know?
time being in the finals. Also,
They're barely older than us.
Yeah. I mean, Kyrie's the veteran. That's been
well, he's not a role player. He's the 1-2 scorer. 100%. You know, with Luka.
100%.
And 100%. Also another thing, in Game 2, I noticed this, man. Boston's ball movement is ridiculous, bro. They kind of not as good as them, but it kind of reminds me of the Spurs.
Oh, Spurs.
Like 2014, 2013 Spurs.
Yeah, only because. And I'm not I fuck with Jason Tatum,
right?
Because he can have an actual flu game and they can still win. You know what I'm saying? He can play like Tim Duncan and not do nothing. You know, hold on. Tim Duncan's a legend.
Yeah,
he's done a lot. He's just more so like, you're not necessarily gonna run a play through Tim Duncan. You know what I'm saying? Like,
of course,
it's not gonna be like a pick and pop always. He's a great pick and popper.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
By running a play through him, you mean like him being the main ball?
Yeah,
handler.
the main ball handler. You know, Jason Tatum right now, he's playmaking, he's doing his thing, but as a scorer, you know, like, you've been expecting him to have that 30-point game, you know, at least 2 to 3 games out of the finals, you know.
Definitely.
Granted, they didn't need it, so, you know, you can't really quibble about it. But at the end of the day, when you have that much firepower, Jason Tatum go out there and chill, Jaylen Brown could take up the slack.
Yeah.
Vice versa. Or
exactly.
You can get a game from Porzingis. He's 6'7", He might as well, you know what I'm saying?
Well, now I don't think he's coming back, but
regardless,
though, you still got Derek White, Drew Holiday. Even Horford could I bet you Horford could get like a 25-point game. You know, he's probably done it a few times in the play. I don't know about 25, but I mean,
Al Horford.
Of course, man. I mean, he's been in the league for a while too. He's all certified All-Star with the Hawks for many years.
45, he about to get his first chip, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. I don't know really what else there is to say about the series, other because the Game 2 I thought was more competitive.
Yeah.
You know, because I think Dallas, in terms of the boards and turnovers, they were really competing with Boston. I thought they played Dallas also. I will give Dallas credit. They've been playing hard defensively. Like, you could see it. They've been very physical with Boston.
You need to be. Boston is the one team you need to be 100% physical with. They have people where it's like, yeah, they can be physical when you're being physical. You know what I'm saying? When they're up.
Right.
When they're down, when they have to come back, or when there's a more physical team than them, you can take advantage of that. You know?
Definitely.
But they haven't.
Yeah.
And chances are they won't.
It's just, and you know, I don't really think you could blame Dallas too much just because, like, you know, in terms, I feel like with Dallas, like the talent level in terms of them and Boston, it's just, there's a gap. You know, and
100%. They have a gap for most of the league, honestly.
Not even talent. I would just say like just just playing ability. You know what I mean? Because these guys on Boston, they've all been like all-star caliber levels at one point in their career.
Yeah, exactly. Boston is a definition of going all in for 1 year and actually working. You know, like they say in football, you're going all in, you're signing like the Rams basically for that 1 year.
Right.
That's how I can equate it similarly. You know,
I feel that.
When they went for that Super Bowl, like they got Porzingis, they got Drew Holiday, they got Derek White, you know.
Yeah.
They traded Marcus Smart away, and that took guts, trading their best defender away. You know,
I mean, he was a fan favorite too. Yeah, so I mean, and
the boy dyed his hair green. Where's his hair? It
was green.
Now? Is it blue now?
I don't know.
He's on the Grizzlies, right?
Yeah,
I haven't heard his name since.
It's crazy. Yeah, the Grizzlies after John Morant got into that little situation, it's like their coverage and everything just gone downhill. But they seem like a fun team though.
Wick.
Yeah. I'm hoping though. I'm hoping they come back though, because I think Memphis is an exciting young team, and they could. But that being said, man, anything else in mind about these finals though that you could think of that you observed or anything like that?
I think the analysis is done. There's not really too much else to say about the Mavericks dropping the ball.
Right.
I just expected more out of the series.
Definitely.
And I just hope that Luka doesn't get swept. I kind of named him my favorite.
Oh, Kyrie doesn't get swept too.
Yeah, Kyrie too. For me, it's personal. I kind of just said like Luka was my favorite player like 2-3 weeks ago, and I kind of feel like I Drake cursed him, So I kind of got to, Luka, you my man, bro. Come on, you don't get swept. We can't do this. We can't do this. Okay, not to Jason Tatum. We can't let Jaylen Brown start thinking he could dribble his left and his right. Come on, bro. Just.
Yeah, I think Jaylen Brown's the MVP though, and in our second version of the prediction though, I think I'm gonna go Boston in 5 from Boston in 6. And what do you think?
Yeah, I didn't even think my prediction.
Just an updated prediction. I mean, we were both wrong, so we think.
I'll do what I did last week. I'm hoping Boston in 5, but it's looking like Boston in 4.
Wow. That's like crazy.
Boston in 4, man.
Because I really want to say though, because if Dallas could like win 2 straight, it might get interesting again because they go back to Dallas. But I just don't see them winning in Boston. I don't see it
That's
happening.
The thing. It can get interesting, but do we think Dallas is really going to win 4 games? 4 games in a row. I don't think so. I won't bet my money on that. I don't think you should either at home, folks, honestly.
Definitely. Be smart with your money. And that's the recap of Game 2 and Game 3. We'll get back to you guys.
Game tonight.
There's a game tonight. We'll get back to you guys after that game or after the series or whatever. We'll keep you guys updated. Let us know what you guys thought and what we missed or what we messed up on, what good points we made. And this is Deuce and Don Podcast, Episode 2. We appreciate y'all. Peace.
All
right. Good Episode 1. I like that.
Okay, I can hear myself.
Check. All right, we're good to go. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
All right.